Well, it's not Christmas, but it's close enough. Boy, oh boy, did we get a dusting last night. Of course, the trouble is it melts right away. But while we're here, let's enjoy ourselves. I'm gonna walk around this 240 that I just bought. We're gonna try to find out everything that's wrong with it. And let's begin with the exterior. No other better place to begin. She's missing a mirror. Okay, the body's good. I like this wine red color. And of course with this like Volvo quality paint. You can see here, you know, an extra decade on this thing. No, 2 decades. This is the 60s. This is a 64. And she's a 85, which I believe is the last year of these quad 4 headlights. But my point is the thick like single stage paint that they had on in the 60s. And then they started going with a, you know, different kind. I'm not a paint expert, so this is way out of my realm. I think it's still a single stage on the Volvos because you don't really see base clear. I think in the 90s, like the 93 240 I had a different quality of paint. Anyway, pretty sure it's a single stage, but that's all to say that this will shine up again if you just hit it a few times with some product. Okay, now the other thing to notice is that this car has very little chrome on it. It's just a ton of blacked out features now. And of course underneath it's all gonna be, like there's our stainless steel in here. And of course right up top here you can see where the paint's faded. This is probably a common area where people were touching or brushing up against. So that's also blacked out. And the handles, you know, that's another thing. Of course these sill plates here, anti-glare plates or whatever they are. Okay, good. It's starting to snow again. This is good. This is good. Because I got to do some driving later. Well, oh yeah, I don't want to glaze over this damage. It looks like a good amount of body filler was used right here. So somebody dented the door, had it replaced, had it repaired many years ago. And of course with time and heat and you know, whatever else, someone bumping up against it again, this thick body filler, which was used to smooth out the majority of the dent after being popped out, is now starting to crack and flip up. I briefly showed this bit of rust here, and you can see inside, it's still nice, you know, inside the rocker panel where it's unpainted metal. It's not a horrible amount of rust in there, so it's just telling you, oh, yep. Yeah, there's the one I forgot. It's just telling you that the drains got plugged up somehow, somewhere, and then it fell apart. Sasquatch. Yeah, we're gonna need new taillights for sure. By the way, we'll get like 3 snow days here. That's why I'm so excited for the whole thing. Okay. Let's see if this tailgate's open. No, I'll go grab the key and we'll see if we can unlock that. Another taillight we're gonna need. Here's the side that was probably parked toward the sun. We're a mile high right here in New Mexico, so we're getting a ton of UV damage on a lot of things. You know, the rubbers and the plastics are the first to go, and then paint also will fade out pretty quickly. So you can see exactly that happening right here. This piece here that's black over on the other side is completely unpainted. Which looks nice because it just follows that full line across, you know? It would be kind of a shame to not show it if you got it. I've seen people, and myself, I'm a little inclined to do this, but I've seen them take out the black matte paint on these pieces all around and then have that show. Of course, it makes the car look a little older because older cars had all the blingy chrome, you know, and as they got newer, they just started matting out, and now it's just become like an accent more than a huge show. For example, you know, now that we have the Amazons here with us, you can see exactly how around every window, the upper anti-glare panel, and then of course all along the side, everything Chrome, chrome, chrome. The bumper, all of it, chrome. Around the lights, the letters, the grills. Same for the rear. And of course, the drip rail all along that, chrome. Okay. Now the front end, somebody commented on the Christmas video and they said, this is my buddy's car. And so I got in touch with them to get in touch with their buddy to learn a little bit about the story. I'll make a full video on the story of this car, but minor front end collision. I got some details on that, so I kind of have an idea of what's going on. In addition to that, it doesn't really matter because these cars can take a beating. Oh my goodness, can they ever. If you were to hit something with the Prius, I mean, how much metal is there in the front to absorb most of the impact? It might not feel good in the driver's seat to have metal instead of some sort of soft foam and plastic combination in front of you and then the metal. But Volvo figured it out, and these cars are just fabulous for holding up in an accident. And that's the other thing, you know, when you're driving modern cars like the S60R or the BMW, they're gonna smush a lot more than these old Volvos for sure. I think I'm gonna keep the quad squares in the front. I could do like quad rounds, that could be fun. I could also swap over single rounds. Even the E-codes, I've got 2 sets of E-codes from the later year cars, which is like 86 to 93. Those are totally different turn signals as well, which means different fenders because the cutout for it is in the fender. I don't really think that would be wise use of time, nor do I want to modify the car in its appearance that much to the point where I'm swapping over lights. Like I did all that with Larry, I did all that with the other 240s I've had. Now, as I get older, I'm like, hey, the more original it is, the better I feel about it. I'm sure some of you guys can relate with that. Okay, looks like I got some classic bubblegum on this side. The Volvo logo is still hanging on, thankfully. Inside, the brakes don't look horrible. You know, there is a pad and there is a rotor. For us, that's good. So Soren pulled apart the front end. So let's just take a look at some of that there. The snow's making this car look nice because it's just giving it an even white coat. The bumper was pushed back. I'll see if I can find a picture of that, or I'll just go and show you the bumper in a moment. And Soren, in his infinite patience and frugality, has, instead of replacing the whole radiator support, he cut it out and spot welded it back in, since there's like these pinch welds, or, you know, it looks like a machine just sort of grabs onto them and then pinches them with a weld, like a spot weld. So we just sort of drilled those out. He removed this piece, which still has a remarkable amount of shine to it. And right here in the middle where it was smushed in, he took his tools and then just sort of straightened it back out. Now the lip sticks out just a little bit more. What that means is it might hang over the bumper some, but that's okay. The bumper itself was smushed in half pretty badly. The bumper mounts were broken, which are the guys that bolt in there into the frame. That's not so bad. Okay, now this is still loose here, which is why our fender liner and everything's not right back in place. All the structural damage on the car, you say okay. You see under there now? Okay. I haven't had my coffee yet, and I feel myself just kind of being low energy, but you know, bear with me. Okay, now the hood. That's incredible. With the weight of all the snow on the hood, these Volvo springs are still holding up strong. Oh, I love that. Down in here, you see that top bolt hole? That's the one where the tube that goes into the bumper mount is going to be bolted in. You know, the first thing that all of us should notice is that we are pleased that the engine is in here. Okay, basics. Second thing, it's all stock. You know, they haven't gone through and done too much horrible modifying. It's tempting when you get an old car like this. You want to slam it, and then you're like, yeah, 113 brake horsepower. Woohoo. The previous owner of the car said it didn't work, and that's why I went to scrap. It's a fascinating story from what I heard from our tow yard guys. We'll get to that in the next video. Inside of here, it's, you know, it started up and it ran for us. And he said there was some work done on the wiring harness, and that totally makes sense because the wiring harness, it's a pre-88 harness, which is biodegradable plastics on all the sides. Now, if you want to know if you've got one of those harnesses, your easiest place to look is going to be right here in the front where your headlights are, because the turn signals and the headlights are going to be the first to go. This is not showing any signs of that. This has either been replaced. It's more than likely it's been replaced because it's in one piece. The other really telltale sign, let me walk around. The second telltale sign that you've got a harness that is biodegradable and it's falling apart, and woe to you, because trust me, I've been there. It's one of those woe to you situations. Look at this big plastic connector on the firewall. those connectors there, all those cables are still in one good piece. Yes. All right. So that's a good news. That's very good news. Here's something that's super scary. The battery positive cable. Whoa. That's how the cracked insulation is gonna go. If I was to touch this cable with all the electrolysis and the corrosion on it with my glove, these would start to disintegrate in a matter of hours, or maybe tomorrow morning I put them on and they start stripping and peeling. Don't get battery stuff on your clothing. Like if you took all this crap, put it in some water in a spray bottle and just sprayed it on your shirt, it would dissolve. With the snap of my infinity gauntlet, your clothes would just turn to dust. You see what I mean? But anyway, this battery cable is so corroded. Look at it over there on the bracket that holds the ignition coil and the power steering reservoir. It's darn near making contact. It's crazy. How on earth does this thing run? Somehow it does. How does it not just blow a fuse or start a fire? I have no idea. Good news is, look how easy it's going to be to replace that. You start here, it runs down and underneath, sticks on this mount, and then it goes underneath the air pipe and straight to the top of the starter. Okay? No problem. I'm happy it's not a early white cap Chrysler distributor. It'll be hard for me to show you guys now, but the hood also has a big dent in it because of all the damage from the accident. It sort of bowed a little bit and it pushed back the support here, which is why our hood hinge has been removed. Our cable is detached and everything's just still taken apart until we can get replacement bits for it. This car has a lot of miles on it, 312,000, I believe. That's good news for me because that means that it got through the worst of the non-running period and somebody else put out the money in the past to get it running again. Yay. Some other common areas of damage you want to look for if you're looking for a 240, look at the air conditioning compressor. It's all broken sideways. That ain't good. A lot of bolts, a lot of mounts, and I can understand why. These are huge compressors down there, and alignment can be very finicky, especially with the bushings deteriorating. You can put in like polyurethane bushings and all that, but sometimes that gives you a problem and it all falls apart and breaks more stuff. There's no condenser up front right now with the accident. This is the early R12 style, but we'll see if we want to get into it or not. It might not be worth the trouble of putting AC in this car. I might just cap all the lines and see what else is going on. Just deal with the summer heat with the windows down. Speaking of capped lines, you've got the air pipe here. Of course, the airbox is missing, but that's just part of the repair stuff that we're doing. The air pipe has a capped line right here, which goes down into the air meter for the idle air control. That motor basically just pumps oxygen past the throttle body and keeps the car running. Somebody's gone through here and figured out either there's a problem with the idle air control motor or something else, and they've just capped that. And the way you now control the idle air control is through this screw valve on the bottom left. So while the car will run, it ain't gonna be an ideal mixture of air and fuel. That's all stuff I'm gonna have to look into later. All right, now, am I an expert on these cars? Nah, I mean, I've had experience with maybe 20 of them. A handful I've kept for myself, but most of them I bought and sold with Soren, and I did the repairs, he did the hauling. It was a good time. A lot of the issues I came across, yeah, they're common issues, but if we're being honest with ourselves, it wasn't worth it to keep most of these cars around. There's so many of them at the time, and now it's 5-6 years later, there are fewer, with the help of YouTube, with the help of what you call bangernomics. That's people trying to drive a car cheaply. It's become more desirable to find an old station wagon 240. I love the wagons the most. More on that story later in sort of my love-hate relationship with Volvo 240s. In fact, there was never much hate, just it was like a disillusionment period, let's say. But, as I'm coming back to them now, I'm just realizing, yeah, they're really simple. And the resale values are going up, especially in big cities like LA. All right, another common problem. This whole intake pipe has just been taped up with electrical tape. Yeah, they develop cracks in the rubber. Just replace it. People are getting frugal. I get it. I understand that. I've been there. We're gonna close her up here. We're gonna go inside, take a look at... Yeah, there's no latching there. I'm gonna go inside and take a look at the interior. Let's get out of the snow for a minute and poke around inside. This is my second time inside this car. The first time was just quickly for that video, so you could say I'm sort of buying it blind. I mean, I walked around and I looked at Soren and I was like, hey, Soren, what you doing with this Volvo? Oh, cool. I want to know more about it. No, I'm like, I really want another 240, so Mostly, I wanted another beater car. As I was putting miles on that BMW, I was realizing it ain't getting any younger, and I'm just doing straight up commuting. So let's get ourselves a Volvo. Here's some old parts down there. We've got a turn signal lens, the backing plates for that, more pipes, yada yada. All right, M46, that's a really wonderful thing to have. She's going to have an electric overdrive. Why is there so much slop in this knob? Yo, are we in gear or what? Oh boy. Oh no. Yeah, we're in a gear, and there's that much. Okay, cool. We're gonna figure that all out later. The old style air conditioning is just this silly knob here, and the whole switch is upside down now. Okay. Wow, look, a radio. Usual 240 stuff, it's all the plastics that are falling apart. You're not gonna get a ton of damage on the headliners because the sun never sees those, so it'll stay supple, especially these visors. But of course, these are gonna break off. Boring. Look how funny this is. I have chosen to return at 318,711 miles. Well, we didn't quite reach that, but that was last May 22nd. But the whole I have chosen thing, it's like telling someone thank you for your help before they offered your help. Now they feel a little obliged to live up to that gratitude. Okay, some of the worst plastic parts, like, you know, I'm probably gonna replace this handle. Maybe, I don't know. This is the thing, I'm starting to get all, hey, let's make it better and start restoring it. Because the better this car is in terms of its completion, fit and finish, the easier it'll be to resell it later. I don't want to sell a junky 240, but I'm also, because I have the know-how and the capability to fix all this stuff, I don't want to just let it be as is. That's not to say I'm going to get carried away and start buying new door panels. No, I'll clean this door panel. I'll spend an hour just giving everything a quick cleaning to get all these soda stains off. And then, you know, if I find one of these plastic things, cool. Otherwise, I might just remove that panel altogether. It'll be cleaner without it. If I can get this to go inside, that'll be great. Otherwise, it'll go. If I can find a knob for this, great. If I can't, I'll have to replace the whole handle. Just pop off this center thing and the handle comes out. The speakers, we'll see. I'd like to have a radio. But see, that's where it gets tricky. When you start going, hey, if I'm going through the effort of adding in a new speaker, why not just put in a new radio, put in new speakers, put in larger, upgraded speakers, blah, blah, blah. It can never end. So you have to tell yourself, all right, this is just a commuter car for me. I don't need this to be beautiful and crazy. If I want fun, I will have my other car. Hey, check it out. It's got an LH 2.4 style fuel injection relay. That's promising. Wait 1 second. There's something I think I didn't notice under the hood, and that would be the ignition box for the LH 2.2. Right, this is the guy that's a culprit for a lot of problems on these cars. It's got a vacuum advance line there that runs across. Yeah, it's still connected. It goes down somewhere and ends up there at the throttle body. Wiggle those connectors if you're having a no start. That could be one big issue of it. These are gonna have a date stamp on them. Let's see if this one has one as well. 2001 date. This harness has electrical tape on it. This main harness here, it's got electrical tape all around it, whereas the original one would not. So yeah, somebody's gone through and definitely put some time into upgrading all that, yada yada. The quality of the seats is not gonna be great. Yeah, I don't really wanna know. We'll leave that there for now. Let's move some of these. Oh, what a surprise. It's like a Christmas present. Cool, full amber. I like the full amber. I think it works well with this color combination. And the other side's not full amber. Okay, well we'll see about getting new lenses there. You know, some new lenses will really spruce that up. New? Oh, I made a junkyard. Did I say new? Okay, here's a cover plate for the lower lip. Oh, nice. A dash mat. See how ugly this dashboard is? Now, in the world of upgrades, absolutely I'm gonna need a tachometer. For any manual transmission car, you can guarantee it. Okay. Instant improvement. How European does this interior look? I mean, come on. All right, back seat woes. Got some ripping in the seat there. Looks like this is just a vinyl seat. These ain't leather by no means. Oh well, we'll get pretty far with that. Oh look. More spare headlights. Yay. And back in the cargo area. Broken plastics. Broken plastics. Broken plastics. Otherwise, she's simple. Really simple. I guess the earlier cars have this little piece here instead of having a long piece all the way. Or perhaps I don't remember what my 93 looks like, but there's a lot of room in here. There's room to work, room to sleep, room to play. And it's being a good car. Well, I guess there's not really much else to show. I'll grab the key and we'll see if we can go into the back hatch area and explore some of the parts that might be lying around there. That's gonna be about it. There's simple cars. Oh, you wanna know what's back here? That's it. Wow. Hey, nice of you to show up, Mr. Airbox. Let's see if we can get back here. Yep. Now, if this car does have power locks, the relays are going to be in the center here, and if they are wonky, the relays aren't usually wonky, but if the wiring is wonky here on the door, I'll just disable power locks. Or maybe not. It might be an easy fix. It's always just the wire harness from here into a clip here. Okay. All right. Typical stuff you find under the seat. Some headphones, iPhone 5 or 6 version headphones. Loose change. Is that a push rod? Okay. It's good to know that the seat belts are still here. The seat's not horrible. It could definitely benefit from a cleaning. And it does latch in place. Nicely. Oh yeah. 317,000 miles, 524. Brilliant. And looks like it's still rolling because the odometer, sometimes the odometer stops working. No doubt the speedometer gear has broken in the past, because they all do. However, usually when they break, people start thinking, oh, maybe I just got to flip the trip reset to get that speedo to start working again, so that the odometer to start working again. And this is in the middle of between 0 and 1, and mile 4 and mile 5. So that's, it makes me feel pretty good that it's actually working. It's working, okay? Good. We'll find out in a few days. Oh, look. There are the knobs. Hey, ladies. Okay. Nice looking car. Hey, let's take a peek underneath, okay? Because that's a lot of business in there. Have you seen what you like to see? Okay. Look, even the rear diffuser's here. Not sure what purpose they have. It almost looks like a parachute or a wing going in the wrong way, but we'll see. Oh yeah, this is a non-stock exhaust. By non-stock, I think that means the cat's been removed. Yeah, no, cat's there. Not sure what's going on. By the way, there's no rust on this side. So interesting. All right, let's do some detective work. There's no rust on this side in the rocker panel area, and there's sun fading on this side. So if this was parked against the sun, all the rain and everything else would kind of heat up and dry off. Okay. Now, if this was parked in the shade, then that could be, this could be the side where there's a tree, and where the trees are, the leaves would fall, the debris would fall, plug up those rockers, and rust. Okay, that makes sense to me. Are you happy with my diagnosis? Because I sure am. Oh, I'd love to get some alloy wheels on here, but for now, I'm just happy to have a complete set of beauty rings and caps. And plus, 195/65 R14s, they're gonna be so cheap, real cheap to replace. One thing, I'm not married to this car at all. One thing that's really going to cheer me up is if it has a limited slip differential, which very few Volvo owners opted in for. They had to live in certain climates where they needed that sort of thing. A little bit of damage here. You can't, watch that reflection of the crack there, you see it? There's just a crease. It starts here, and it works its way to about here. Okay. So where I drew that line, there's that damage. Okay. That's really no big deal. Dude, she's nice. Yeah. I'm gonna replace that door with the crap on it if I, get around to considering a sale. Oh, there is some damage on the roof. It's so nice up here, I almost don't want to destroy this scenery, but I gotta show you. There's a dent on the roof somewhere. Looks like somebody plopped down on it or was just walking around. And it's just turned into red snow. It's in there somewhere. I'll show you later. We'll find it. Okie dokie. Here's our key. I might keep this little tow yard keychain. So 1985, red 240. here's something interesting. Oops, I wiped it off, but there's a PIP number, which is a PPI number, which is a private property impound, I believe. We'll see more about that as we unravel the story of this car. Well, I can't get this key to open the hatch. Either there's a different key used for the hatch, or the lock is damaged, so no sense in trying to break my one and only key. I'll go get a copy made, and it has a little bit of a twist in it. They all do, but always make spares before they break. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope this wind noise is not picking up too much. Stay tuned. Soon I'm unraveling the story right now. I'm in communication with the previous owners, and we're gonna see if we can figure out more about this car, the story of how it came to be, and there's always some fun stuff in there. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back. Happy New Year.